There's a specific kind of magic that happens when a great isometric RPG clicks. Suddenly, you're lost in a world where strategy, character depth, and narrative consequence are everything. But with so many choices, how do you find those truly essential games, the ones that define the genre? We've ignored the filler and compiled the absolute 19 best experiences that maximize tactical depth and pure storytelling brilliance. Whether you crave real-time chaos or deep turn-based systems, this list has the epic you've been waiting for. Get ready to discover your next 100-hour obsession. Bastion is the game that practically invented the modern indie aesthetic, delivering an experience that is short, sharp, and undeniably brilliant. It's hard to overstate the impact of its real-time narration, delivered by a gruff, world-weary voice that comments on your every move, misstep, and discovery. This mechanic transforms what would otherwise be a good action RPG into a profoundly personal and atmospheric journey, making the world of Caelondia feel like it's being built, or rather rebuilt, right underneath your feet. The smooth combat, centered on varied weapons and special abilities, offers a satisfying hack-and-slash rhythm that is easy to pick up but surprisingly deep to master, thanks to the varied loadouts and upgrade paths. The value here isn't just in the polished gameplay, it's in the emotional punch and the flawless presentation. The watercolor art style remains timeless, making every level a feast for the eyes, while the Grammy-nominated soundtrack hits all the right melancholic notes. And here's where it gets interesting. The Idols system acts as a brilliant difficulty modifier, allowing you to selectively empower your enemies to boost your rewards and keep the challenge fresh, perfectly tailoring the replayability. Bastion is proof that immense value doesn't require hundreds of hours. It requires a singular, unforgettable vision executed to perfection. It's the kind of game you finish and immediately want to experience again just to hear that narrator unpack the shattered pieces of the world once more. The tightly focused narrative ensures there's zero filler, meaning every minute you spend is essential to the story and your character's progression. For a relatively compact package, Bastion delivers an aesthetic, a soundtrack, and a narrative experience that most 100-hour epics can only dream of achieving. If you're looking for a beautifully crafted isometric jewel that respects your time and leaves a lasting impression, look no further. You know that moment when a game's atmosphere just grabs you and refuses to let go? Warhammer Rogue Trader is that game, wrapping you in the grim darkness of the far future with unparalleled narrative depth. It successfully translates the daunting scale and political complexity of the Warhammer 40K universe into a classic turn-based CRPG structure, putting you in command of a vast trading empire with the authority to explore the unexplored and exploit the weak. The stakes are immense, reflecting the high value of a game that truly makes you feel like a consequential figure in a massive, uncaring cosmos. The core value proposition lies squarely in the sheer amount of content and the branching reactivity of the story. Your choices as the Rogue Trader, whether you adhere to the Imperial Creed, dabble in heresy, or follow the path of the dogmatic, have genuine universe-shaking repercussions that close off paths and open up others, encouraging multiple playthroughs. The turn-based combat system is deeply strategic, adapting the tabletop's complexity with a satisfying degree of tactical freedom, forcing you to prioritize positions, abilities, and synergy within your diverse squad of companions. Beyond the main quest, the companion quests alone are worth the price of admission, offering intricate moral dilemmas and fleshing out the darkest corners of the 40K lore. From navigating the brutal politics of the Imperium to fighting cultists and Xenos across derelict space hulks, the variety in both exploration and combat ensures the experience never stagnates. For fans of deep character builds, massive lore dumps, and consequential choices, Rogue Trader is an absolute treasure trove that promises hundreds of hours of grim-dark, high-stakes action. How often does an action roguelite manage to combine breakneck combat with a compelling character-driven story? Hades proves it's possible, delivering a legendary experience where death isn't a failure, but a narrative device that drives the plot forward. You play as Zagreus, the prince of the underworld, perpetually trying to escape the clutches of his father, Hades. The value proposition here is pure, polished repetition. The combat loop is so perfectly tuned, fast, fluid, and focused on stylish execution that you'll immediately hit the retry button the moment you fall. The genius of Hades lies in its phenomenal character writing and the way it leverages the roguelite structure for narrative momentum. Every time you return to the House of Hades, new dialogue trees open up, relationships deepen, and the overarching plot advances, making even the failures feel like progress. This isn't just a hack and slash, it's a Greek mythology soap opera, where the power-ups known as boons from the Olympians feel like genuinely meaningful gifts from family members who want to see you succeed. The game is a masterclass in replayability, driven by the massive variation in weapon aspects, the ever-changing boons, and the different builds you can chase in each run. Whether you're a fan of swift stabbing or heavy-hitting ranged attacks, the combat accommodates and rewards mastery. You know what they say about an experience that gives back the more you put in? Hades epitomizes that, delivering an endless stream of challenging content, witty banter, and a truly unforgettable ascent from the depths. It's a roguelite that everyone, regardless of genre preference, should play. If you measure value by sheer volume of content, Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous is an easy winner, standing tall as one of the most ambitious and content-rich CRPGs ever made. This is a game for those who crave systems, deep character creation, and narrative arcs that stretch into epic, world-defining decisions. Taking on the role of a commander leading a crusade against literal demons, you have the opportunity to choose a unique mythic path, like becoming a trickster, an angel, or even a demon lord, which fundamentally alters the gameplay, the story, and your available options. The complexity is a huge part of the fun. Pathfinder throws a massive toolbox at you, dozens of classes, hundreds of feats and spells, and multi-classing options that allow for genuinely unique and powerful builds. For veteran RPG fans, sinking dozens of hours into min-maxing a perfect party is the core joy, and Wrath of the Righteous rewards that effort with challenging encounters and satisfying power progression. The combat system can be swapped between real-time with pause and true turn-based, offering flexibility that caters to different tactical preferences. But the game's enduring quality comes from its grand scope. You're not just a hero, you're the leader of a full-scale military operation, managing armies, political alliances, and the morale of your troops. This layer of grand strategy, combined with a main campaign that can easily breach the 150-hour mark, ensures that every penny spent on this title provides a massive return. The narrative exploration of morality, faith, and power is exceptional, ensuring that this is an adventure you'll be thinking about long after the final demon is vanquished. Imagine the elegant, precise combat of a classic top-down action game, but filtered through a stylish, dark fantasy aesthetic about crows harvesting souls. That's Death's Door, a game that's light on inventory bloat but heavy on atmosphere and perfectly tuned action. It manages to feel simultaneously retro and modern, offering a streamlined experience that cuts out all the filler and focuses entirely on satisfying combat and environmental puzzle solving. It's proof that a game doesn't need an open-world map to deliver immense, focused value. The moment-to-moment gameplay is pure joy. Playing as the Crow, you swiftly alternate between melee attacks, ranged magic, and a satisfying dodge roll. The combat encounters are structured almost like puzzles, demanding quick reflexes and smart positioning against beautifully designed bosses that feel distinct and memorable. This focused design, where every enemy placement and arena layout is deliberately crafted, ensures a constant feeling of forward momentum and challenge. Moreover, the world design is a triumph of interconnected level structure, rewarding players who carefully explore and backtrack with hidden upgrades and secrets. Finding those hidden soul containers and weapon upgrades provides a delightful sense of discovery that complements the main quest seamlessly. Death's Door is the kind of game that gets its hooks into you early and never lets go, offering a tight, highly polished package that delivers cinematic quality and a unique, witty tone without ever overstaying its welcome. It's a must-play for anyone who appreciates tight controls and stylish execution. When you think of isometric action RPGs, the Diablo name is inescapable, and Diablo IV successfully brings the franchise back to its grim, dark roots. It masterfully recaptures that sense of dread and monumental scale, setting the stage in the ravaged world of Sanctuary, where the demon Lilith has returned. The value here is absolutely immense, rooted in a vast, seamless open world that encourages exploration and endless monster slaying. This is the kind of game that allows you to just settle in, turn off your brain, and enjoy the pure, visceral satisfaction of melting hordes of enemies with ridiculously powerful builds. The core gameplay loop is what truly justifies the investment. The combat is weighty, responsive, and incredibly dynamic regardless of which class you choose. Whether you're freezing entire screens as a sorcerer or utilizing the relentless fury of a barbarian, the skill trees and Paragon boards offer staggering build diversity. And here's where it gets interesting. The game's transition from a structured campaign into a sprawling, content-rich endgame filled with nightmare dungeons, world bosses, and the PvP-focused fields of hatred is seamless, ensuring the grind never truly stops. Furthermore, the game provides a compelling blend of solo and multiplayer value. While the narrative is best experienced alone, the shared world aspect introduces a natural sense of community and the thrill of encountering other players during world events. Diablo V delivers a definitive high-production value ARPG experience, offering hundreds of hours of satisfying loot progression, grim atmosphere, and an addictive cycle that consistently rewards the player's time and dedication. It's the modern benchmark for dark fantasy monster bashing. Hyper Light Drifter is a study in minimalist storytelling and maximalist style, offering an isometric action experience that is as mesmerizing as it is challenging. The game intentionally tells its narrative almost entirely through visual cues, environmental design, and cryptic interactions, forcing the player to piece together the fractured history of its beautiful, ruined world. This unique approach to narrative creates a profound sense of atmosphere and discovery, rewarding players who lean into the mystery and aesthetic poetry of the experience. The combat is razor-sharp and requires precise execution. Playing as the Drifter, you rely on rapid sword slashes and the titular drifting, a quick dash for both offense and defense, creating a high-risk, high-reward fighting style. Resource management for your limited gun attacks adds a layer of tactical depth, especially when facing the game's phenomenal massive bosses. The tight controls and brutal difficulty mean that every victory is hard-earned, contributing significantly to the feeling of value and accomplishment. Beyond the combat, the pixel art is simply breathtaking. A masterclass in color palette and evocative design that gives the entire world a distinctive glowing quality. Exploring the interconnected zones and uncovering the hidden secrets of the map is a journey in itself. Hyper Light Drifter is a relatively compact game, but its style, challenging gameplay, and lingering sense of melancholic beauty pack an enormous punch, proving that deep value can be found in focused, artistic brilliance. For fans who prioritize freedom of choice and massive world consequence, Pillars of Eternity 2: Deadfire sails far beyond expectation. This sequel swaps the grounded setting of the first game for the vast, vibrant, and politically charged archipelago of the Deadfire. The unique value proposition here is its blending of classic CRPG depth with the sense of high-seas adventure, allowing you to manage and upgrade your own ship while navigating complex factions and exotic islands. The depth of the character and party mechanics is nearly unmatched. Deadfire introduced a robust multi-classing system, allowing players to mix and match abilities from two distinct classes, leading to an almost staggering number of build possibilities that keep the replayability incredibly high. The tactical real-time with pause combat is tight and challenging, rewarding careful planning, party synergy, and strategic positioning against the game's varied enemies and impressive sea monsters. But the real heart of the game lies in its narrative complexity and reactivity. Your decisions carry weight not just for your character, but for the entire Deadfire region, influencing the balance of power between warring pirate groups, imperial trading companies, and native tribes. This deep consequence, combined with compelling companions who are fully voiced and beautifully written, ensures that the hundreds of hours you invest yield rich, meaningful narrative returns. It's an epic pirate fantasy wrapped in one of the densest and most rewarding CRPG systems available. What do you get when you mix the frenetic energy of a roguelite dungeon crawler with the dark humor and management sim elements of a cult leader? You get Cult of the Lamb, one of the most uniquely charming and addictive isometric titles in recent memory. The value here is derived from its incredibly clever duality. One half is a satisfying, fast-paced action game, and the other is a compelling, high-stakes base management sim where you tend to your devoted, if slightly gross, followers. The dungeon crawling sections are pure, distilled action. You plunge into procedurally generated zones, utilizing swift weapons and powerful curses, with combat that feels punchy and responsive. But the immediate threat of combat is balanced by the responsibility of management. You know that moment when you realize you have to rush back to your base before your followers starve, revolt, or step in too much poop? That pressure forms the core addictive loop, forcing you to prioritize resource gathering, building structures, and performing sermons and rituals to maintain faith. The game thrives on its dark, cartoonish aesthetic and its wicked sense of humor, recruiting new followers, indoctrinating them with bizarre doctrines, and sacrificing the dissenters is all part of the charmingly disturbing fun. Cult of the Lamb provides fantastic value through its constant sense of progression and its ability to seamlessly weave together two completely different genres into a unified, extremely hard-to-put-down package. Wasteland 3 stands as a monumental achievement in post-apocalyptic CRPGs. delivering a darkly humorous, morally ambiguous, and tactically profound experience. Set in the frozen wasteland of Colorado, you lead a squad of desert rangers caught in a brutal political web involving a psychotic despot and his equally unhinged family. The value proposition is clear. This is a game that rewards deep tactical thinking and embraces player choice with almost reckless abandon. The turn-based combat system is the centerpiece, offering a grid-based tactical environment where cover, positioning, and action point management are absolutely crucial. The sheer variety of weapons, skills, and status effects allows for a high degree of strategic planning before and during engagements, leading to some incredibly satisfying and challenging showdowns. This system ensures that you're always engaged, constantly considering the best way to leverage your team's specialized skills, from explosive specialists to charismatic talkers. But the true genius lies in its narrative and writing. The tone is pitch perfect, balancing genuinely hilarious, over-the-top character moments with seriously bleak and difficult moral choices that define the fate of Colorado. You know that feeling when your decision feels genuinely consequential and immediately changes the entire scope of the game? Wasteland 3 delivers that constantly, ensuring that multiple playthroughs are practically mandatory to explore all the dark, humorous possibilities. It's a massive, content-rich RPG that provides unparalleled freedom and consequence. If tactical freedom and sheer environmental interactivity are the metrics for value, then Divinity Original Sin 2 remains an untouchable champion. It's a massive CRPG that constantly encourages you to experiment, break the rules, and combine elements in unexpected ways, leading to hilarious and often game-breaking solutions. Set in the world of Rivellon, you and your party embark on an epic quest to become the Divine, leading to a story filled with morally gray decisions and beautifully written companion arcs that truly justify the game's legendary status. The value proposition is overwhelmingly tied to its combat system. This is pure turn-based tactical excellence where the environment is as much of a weapon as your sword or spells. You know that moment when you electrify a puddle, freeze an enemy, or use a teleport scroll to drop a major boss into a pit of lava? That level of creative, element-based synergy is the game's core strength, ensuring that even 100 hours in, you're still discovering new, devastating combinations. The system rewards true strategic thinking and preparation rather than simple brute force. Furthermore, the game's approach to quests and narrative design is incredibly rewarding. Almost every objective has multiple solutions, often allowing you to talk, sneak, or fight your way through obstacles, depending on your party composition. The addition of a robust 4-player co-op mode means the entire 100-plus hour campaign can be played with friends, multiplying the fun and the chaos. Original Sin 2 is a bottomless well of character builds, engaging narrative, and tactical depth, making it an essential investment for any RPG enthusiast. The Ascent delivers an intense, neon-drenched cyberpunk experience that blends the high-octane action of a twin-stick shooter with the deep loot and progression systems of an ARPG. Set in a dystopian megacity run by a massive corporation that suddenly collapses, the game throws you into a chaotic struggle for power amongst rival gangs and corporations. Its immediate value comes from its jaw-dropping visual presentation. The sheer detail and verticality of the cyberpunk architecture are some of the best you'll ever see in an isometric game. The combat is visceral and tactical, utilizing the high-low cover system that adds a unique layer of strategy to the rapid-fire mayhem. You constantly have to manage your position, swap between different weapon types, and strategically deploy augments and abilities to survive the overwhelming enemy density. This constant need for tactical movement keeps the action dynamic and extremely rewarding, especially when you perfectly execute a maneuver that clears a screen full of enemies. Beyond the excellent combat, the RPG systems are deep, allowing for complex character builds focused on tactical augments or pure firepower. The stream of loot, new weapons, armor pieces, and cybernetic implants provides that constant dopamine hit of progression. Crucially, the entire campaign can be played in 4-player co-op, turning the already chaotic firefights into magnificent coordinated explosions of violence. The Ascent is a stunning high-value package that offers both visual spectacle and satisfyingly deep action RPG mechanics. Children of Morta is a roguelite action RPG that masterfully weaves a compelling emotional family narrative into its persistent dungeon-crawling structure. Instead of focusing on a single hero, you control the entire Bergson family, each member possessing a unique fighting style and set of skills. This focus on the domestic lives of the heroes, shown through beautiful pixel art cutscenes between runs, is what truly elevates the game and provides its unique lasting value. The core gameplay loop is classic roguelite: venture into corrupted dungeons, fight intense waves of enemies, and die, only to come back stronger with permanent upgrades. The genius lies in the character rotation. Each family member, from the shield-wielding father to the fire magic daughter, levels up individually, but their progression grants universal passive bonuses to the entire family. This encourages players to cycle through characters, ensuring the gameplay always feels fresh and varied, and maximizing the overall return on investment. You know that feeling when a game makes you genuinely care about its characters? Children of Morta achieves this perfectly. The narrative beats about sacrifice, loss, and the unbreakable bond of family are genuinely moving, constantly motivating you to jump back into the fray to protect them. Offering a robust local co-op mode for 2 players, it's a beautifully animated, high-value experience that successfully merges the addictive thrill of the roguelite genre with the emotional weight of a true family epic. To call Baldur's Gate 3 a game is an understatement. It is a sprawling living world that offers arguably the most freedom and reactive storytelling in the history of the RPG genre. Built on the foundational rules of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, its value is practically infinite, derived from the sheer variety of ways you can approach any quest, combat encounter, or moral dilemma. This is the ultimate realization of the CRPG format, setting a new, impossibly high bar for consequence and player agency. The combat is a faithful, brilliantly executed adaptation of D&D's turn-based rules, rewarding creative use of spells, abilities, and the environment. But the true masterpiece is the narrative design. The game responds to nearly every action, small or large, in incredibly nuanced ways, leading to narrative branching that genuinely feels organic. Trying to sneak past a challenge, talking your way out of a difficult fight, or simply stacking crates to reach a hidden area, the game constantly rewards lateral thinking. And here's where the value compounds. The depth of the companion system is unparalleled. These are not just sidekicks. They are fully fleshed out characters with their own motivations, desires, and branching storylines that you can influence through conversation and romance. With a campaign that easily spans well over 100 hours and a near infinite number of paths and class combinations to explore, Baldur's Gate 3 is not just a great isometric RPG, it's a landmark gaming achievement that warrants every minute of your attention. If you're looking for a roguelite that emphasizes deliberate methodical combat and dark, Lovecraftian horror, Curse of the Dead Gods is the high-value alternative to the faster-paced games in the genre. This game demands patience and mastery, centering its action around heavy weapon handling and a unique system that punishes you for rushing. It's a beautifully brutal experience where every swing, dodge, and parry feels impactful and necessary for survival. The core mechanic that gives this game its unique tactical edge is the corruption system. As you explore the temple, you accumulate corruption points from traps, curses, and certain actions. This corruption eventually triggers increasingly devastating negative effects, forcing a risk-reward calculation in every decision. You constantly have to weigh the benefit of a powerful relic against the potential curse it might inflict, a mechanic that adds incredible strategic depth to the standard roguelite run. The combat itself is heavily inspired by titles like Dark Souls, focusing on parrying enemy attacks to open them up for devastating counterattacks, which adds a layer of skill and timing mastery that is highly rewarding. Coupled with a deep selection of permanent blessings, temporary curses, and diverse weapon loadouts, Curse of the Dead Gods offers incredible replay value. It's a challenging, stylish, and highly refined action title that provides exceptional value for players who appreciate technical, methodical combat. Disco Elysium. The Final Cut is an experience unlike any other on this list, completely redefining the expectations for the isometric RPG genre. It strips away conventional combat mechanics and replaces them with a narrative and dialogue system so rich and complex that it offers unparalleled value. You play as an utterly ruined detective, trying to solve a murder while simultaneously wrestling with your own fractured psyche, with your skills manifesting as voices in your head arguing over your next move. The value is entirely derived from its brilliant writing and the depth of its skill system. Instead of fighting enemies with weapons, you engage in verbal battles and mental struggles, with success and failure determined by dice rolls against your massive 24 skill parameters, from logic and volition to inland empire and shivers. This system turns simple conversations into high-stakes, dramatic showdowns, and the internal monologue of your detective becomes the most dynamic part of the gameplay. The world of Rivachol is incredibly detailed and politically dense, and the way you choose to interact with it, whether as a revolutionary communist, a staunch moralist, or a complete lunatic, changes the narrative profoundly. The sheer volume of beautifully written, consequential dialogue ensures that this is a game you will be compelled to play through multiple times just to see what happens when you prioritize different aspects of your detective's personality. The final cut is a dense philosophical masterpiece that offers immense replayability and remains the ultimate conversation-based RPG. While Diablo IV returned to the gritty atmosphere, Diablo III maintains its place as a high-value isometric ARPG thanks to its flawless kinetic combat and its legendary loot grind. The game perfected the visceral satisfaction of tearing through hordes of demons with spectacular, screen-filling abilities. It's the kind of game you can return to years later, jump right in, and instantly be hooked by the pure, addictive rhythm of killing, looting, and upgrading. The value of Diablo III is cemented by its class design and the rune system, which allows players to drastically alter the effects and functionality of core skills, leading to countless build variations that feel distinct and powerful. Whether you prefer the relentless summoning of a witch doctor or the gravity-defying maneuvers of a demon hunter, the game provides immediate gratification through colorful effects and satisfying critical hits that make the combat feel constantly explosive. Furthermore, the game's endless endgame loop, driven by the constantly scaling difficulty of Nephilim rifts and greater rifts, ensures that the hunt for that perfectly rolled legendary item never truly ends. This continuous chase for stronger gear, combined with the season mechanics that introduce new challenges and rewards, makes Diablo III a timeless package. It's a beautifully polished, fast-paced action game that promises hundreds of hours of satisfying, click-heavy demon slaying, making it an undeniable bargain for the sheer entertainment value it offers. As the spiritual successor that breathed new life into the classic Baldur's Gate era of computer RPGs, Pillars of Eternity offers a deep, narrative-driven experience centered on party customization and strategic combat. Set in the world of Eora, the game casts you as a watcher, a person capable of seeing into the past lives of others, plunging you into a dense, politically charged mystery involving gods, souls, and an ancient plague. Its value lies in its uncompromising depth and its respect for the intricate mechanics of old-school CRPGs. The combat is conducted in real time with pause, demanding that the player carefully manage their six-person party, utilizing every character's abilities, spells, and positioning to survive brutal encounters. The deep class system, combined with a plethora of gear and spell choices, ensures that building and leveling your party is an extremely rewarding, complex endeavor that will delight tactical players. This is where the game truly shines, forcing you to think like a general, pausing the action to issue precise commands. The sheer volume of meticulously crafted lore and prose in Pillars of Eternity is staggering, providing hundreds of hours of reading and questing across a vast and intriguing world. The narrative complexity, coupled with companions who each possess rich, engaging backstories, ensures that your investment in the world of Eora pays off handsomely. It's a foundational modern classic, offering an epic narrative scale and robust mechanics that cement its status as a must-play for fans of deep, high-fantasy RPGs. Wait, you might be thinking, isn't Path of Exile 2 brand new? It is, and it's already generating massive hype as the next-generation isometric ARPG, building upon the legendary complexity of its predecessor. Its value proposition is simple. It offers the most expansive and deep character customization system ever conceived in the genre, providing an experience that promises near-infinite replayability and build diversity. The game is a masterclass in complexity, featuring a colossal skill gem system that allows players to link support gems to active skills in incredibly creative ways, fundamentally altering their functionality. This system, combined with a staggering passive skill tree, a true web of possibilities, means that every character build is a unique creation, designed and optimized by the player. The value is in the intellectual challenge of perfecting your build and then executing it against the game's challenging boss fights and dense maps. What elevates Path of Exile 2 is its commitment to high-quality combat design. It retains the dark aesthetic and relentless pace of a great ARPG, but introduces more deliberate, responsive combat controls and entirely new class archetypes, ensuring the minute-to-minute gameplay feels modern and weighty. As a free-to-play title built on a mountain of content and an endless endgame, Path of Exile 2 provides unparalleled value and replayability, making it the definitive choice for players who demand boundless depth and build customization. So there you have it. 19 incredible isometric RPGs that absolutely earn their spot on your shelf, proving that the top-down perspective still delivers some of the industry's deepest and most rewarding experiences. Whether you crave the tactical freedom of a high fantasy epic or the fast-paced rush of a pixelated roguelite, every title on this list represents exceptional value for your time and money. We covered everything from character-driven dramas to chaotic demon slayers, ensuring your next gaming session is fully packed with quality content. Which one of these gems gave you the greatest return on investment, and which epic adventure should we dive into for the next list? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you found your next obsession, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the games that are truly worth your commitment. There's always another isometric masterpiece waiting just around the corner.